everybody, welcome to Poly Games. I'm your host Joseph, and today we're going to talk about diversity for diversity's sake. This is something that I've been thinking a lot about for the last week now. Ever since Polygon's article of Call of Duty WW2 Still a White Man's War, which I'll put in the description below so you can mock it afterwards. But it got me thinking about diversity in video games and what diversity means to me. When I think of diversity, I actually think of the Power Rangers and I think of the Force Awakens. I think of those two things because I see little kids running around, whether they're a little girl or a little black kid or a little Hispanic kid, and they all have their hero. And they all have someone that looks like them that they could see themselves in. And I love seeing when I'm in the Disney store, little girl trying on a Jin costume or with, Rey's saber. It is Anakin's. But, seeing them run around and seeing little black kids in little, thin jackets, it makes me so happy. Because, either though that's pose. But it makes me happy to see all those kids have a hero. And when I look at the Power Rangers, same deal, right? You had an Asian person for Asians to really look at as a hero. You had a white girl for girls to go girl power. You had a black guy, right, for black kids to have a hero. You had a guy with a ponytail to say it's okay to have a ponytail in the 90s. No one's going to judge you for it. Ponytails are always going to be a thing. Don't let anybody say otherwise. That's awesome. But to me, those things have to be warranted. Those things can't be diversity in video games, or video games can't be a checklist, right? Okay, so we need a black guy, an Asian guy, a Latino guy, a guy with a quirky sense of humor, a guy that you don't know is gay, but he comes out mid-game and it's really beautiful. I don't want that. An artist should have the freedom to express themselves and create the characters and the universes that they want to. And I understand it's not a single man's job. If a group of writers come together and say, you know what, Tracer being gay, pretty cool, let's do it. I think it would make sense to her character. If Ellie is bisexual, if all those artists and all those writers come into it and going, you know what, she is a teenager, she's finding out who she really is, it makes sense. That's what I care about. Is it making sense rather than just to do it because some guy in a suit told you to because they want us to seem hip and progressive? I don't want to see that in games. I want to see the artists tell the story the way they want to tell the story with the characters they want to tell in their stories. That's why I love Naughty Dog so much. There was an interview with Neil Druckmann talking about Nadine during the crisis, which was, oh my god, Nadine's a black woman being played by a white actress. What blackface? And they broke it down going, no, we didn't know what race Nadine was going to be. We had it at the point where we had Nadine was a woman, but when we thought about Nadine, we talked about her being a kick-ass, badass paramilitary chick who's trying to impress her father, trying to live up to what her father was, and then it kind of going from there, going, okay, well, if she's South African, only kind of makes sense that she is African or black because, again, most of the population there is black, so it would just make sense. And it going down in a line where it starts off with the character, the motivations, then their sex, then their gender identity, then their whatever have you. Everything's secondary, which makes the reason why, Naughty Dog's characters are so believable and so grounded is because they care about the character first rather than making a political statement. That's why the guys behind Life is Strange, that was a terrific game about two teenage girls. And those teenage girls weren't like, oh my god, Jesse, that's crazy. No, it was two teenage girls going through and finding out who they are. And I resonated in those characters because, again, I was a teenager, and those things, those hormones, man. I understand being able to alter time and all that jazz. No, I understand what these characters are going through and their struggles because I saw my friends have those struggles. I saw those struggles and finding out who I am, and that's why games are so incredible because the artists are making a story that they want to tell. And it's not anybody else putting a gun to their head saying, you better make Aloy a woman or else. No, Aloy is an awesome character, one of the best characters in this generation, because I see myself as Aloy. Every time I'm making a decision, it's not what would Aloy do, what is Joseph going to do right here? And that's why Aloy's so awesome, is because you mold her into what you want her to be. And that was their vision right off the get-go, to go, we're going to have a female protagonist. We're going to be a little different here. We're going to be a little crazy. You know, again, video games are about telling a story that the artist wants to tell, not because someone else wants to tell it. If you want to have a black character in your World War II game, make that fucking game. Don't tell the creators of that game why they're racist because they don't do it or don't listen to you. No. To end this rant, Call of Duty World War II, I am insanely interested in because of the one aspect of you're a white platoon. You're a 19-year-old. You are terrified. You are going into the conflict of all conflicts. The last war where it was about good versus evil. And that platoon will interact with females, they'll interact with women and children during that age, and you get to see how sexism was back in the times, but you also get to see what race relations were like back in the 40s. You'll get to see your squad mates run into a black squad, and you get to see how there is tension. And maybe some characters that you look up to in the beginning, you won't after you see how they interact or act when they see a black person. That to me is insane. That to me is, I hate to use the word, but awesome, because you get to see what history and what that time period was like firsthand. No bullshit. We're not going to color in with a crayon. We want to make World War II horrifying. We want to make the time period as accurate as possible. So when they say it's a white man's war, you're really not paying attention to the full story, Polygon. And for Polygon to say this and to go, you know, this is whitewashing, still white man's war. I did a little bit of research on Polygon. There are only 2 black people on that staff. So maybe before you want to talk about being an all-white, you know, cast, maybe you want to talk about your all-white staff. Maybe Polygon, if you're going to be critical towards Call of Duty World War II and how they're whitewashing, stand behind your writers and don't take Activision's money when they say, hey, can we litter your website with Call of Duty WW2 stuff and pre-order bonuses and all that stuff. How about you do that? But you don't. And that's what I hate. So again, it's all about, to me, making characters that make sense. I don't mind gay characters. I love that Tracer's gay. I love that Ellie is, from what we've seen, maybe a lesbian. I love seeing strong females. I love seeing black and minority characters being represented fairly and realistically. But that all has to make sense in the grand scheme of things. It can't just be there to just have a check mark, because then at the end of the day, what are you really doing? So with that said, it's not about diversity for diversity's sake. It is about the freedom of the artist. And when you give that freedom to that artist to make the story they want to talk about the characters the way they want to talk about them, and represent them, you end up getting what you want. You know, the last 3-4 years for women have been really awesome. We've gotten to see some strong female, not performances, but also lead actors in games. You know, Aloy, Kate, the cast from Life is Strange, Aloy, they're all awesome characters. And even Lara Croft being desexified, but like being proportional and also just having like a really good human struggle and being acted out so well. Oh my God, the woman that does that, she does just such a great job. Anyway, those characters are awesome, and I would love to see more minorities come in, sure, but I want to make sure that they come in and they're well represented. They're strong as well, and not just there to be there. I know I'm sitting in the middle of a very tense argument between two sides, and I understand I'm going to get a lot of shit for this video, but again, I don't have any problem with any of the characters as long as that's what, again, the artist had in mind for them, and the actor and director had in mind for them. That's it. And that's where the buck should stop. I hate when I see the comments like, oh, feminism's just feminazis. You're a Nazi, man. You're libtard, safe spaces, retard. I hate that stuff. I really do. Because you don't win when you call someone a cuck. I don't know what a cuck is. It sounds like a cock, so just call him a cock. Call him a cocksucker. I don't know. I don't know what that word means, but like, just don't say it. You don't have to call someone a libtard. You don't have to call someone just because they're a right wing, a conservative. You don't have to call someone a name because they're a liberal. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay? Don't be a Bernie bro. With all that said, please be nice to each other in the comments, for the love of God. And if you have your thoughts, lay them down here in the comment section. Again, try to be respectful. That's what I tried to be here. I know I called out a little bit Polygon and got a little heated, but again, I'm not calling anybody a libtard or a retard or whatever tard. I don't like to see that shit. You don't win your arguments that way. You don't win an argument when you call someone a name. You just make yourself look like a fucking idiot. That's why, with Anita Sarkeesian calling people, just like a sexist and misogynist, and she's never even met that person, or that person like Miyamoto calling him like a sexist misogynist, calling Super Mario that is stupid to me. At the same time, Thunderfoot calling people like libtards or whatever, like cucks. I'm a liberal and I'm agreeing with you. And so now you're losing me because you're putting people in places. Not just because I'm a liberal does that mean that I am for every single thing that a liberal is there for. No, I'm my own person. I have some really strong conservative views. I have some views that are right down the middle. And I always try to see everybody else's opinion. I never, ever go out and label someone something. I always try to at least understand where that other person's coming from. Because when you have that argument, you don't get to see the other side. You just validate your own side. And when you're having a conversation, though, at least you're able to see what the other side thinks. That's why I don't think like conservatives are like evil. I just feel like we have a different view. And I understand it, and we both want the same thing, which is the benefit of our fellow man. We just have two different ways of going about it. Wow, I got real deep. Wasn't this about video games? I don't know. Everybody, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. It helps me out, shows me that you care. And with all that said, everybody, I shook the camera, keep your wits about you, and have a nice one.